Hey guys, welcome to Tuesday's math lesson. So hopefully yesterday's math homework went well because today is sort of a continuation of that. So today we're going to be focusing on lesson 56. And if you remember, this is the sheet of paper that Mrs. Meyer gave you yesterday. So you may want to get that back out one more time. So reminder, common denominators literally have the same denominator. Uncommon denominators do not. Okay, so when the denominators are not the same, you have to find the LCM of the denominators in order to make them the same. And today we are actually going to have to rename both of the fractions. If you remember yesterday, we only had to rename one of the fractions. Okay, so this is just a reminder from yesterday. So notice how we only had to change one of them. Okay, today we're going to be changing both of these in lesson 56. So we're going to rename the fractions whose denominators don't equal the LCM, which is going to be both of them. And then once we rename both of them, then we're going to add or subtract, just like normal. So I'm going to be working from your booklet page, so you can follow along with me if you'd like, which I would highly suggest. So number one here, I'm just going to rewrite it as a normal addition problem that makes it a little bit easier. Okay, now notice, of course, we do not have the same denominators. So our first step is we have to get the LCM of 4 and 5. So I'm just going to list out some multiples. So we have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. And then for 5, we have 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay, so I found my LCM, and 20 happens to be the smallest number that is in both groups. So 20 is my LCM, which also means that 20 is going to be my denominator. Okay, so in order to do that, remember you have to mentally ask yourself, and I'm going to take up quite a bit of this paper right here just to show you because I wrote too close. So I'm going to mentally ask myself, what times 4 gives me 20? Okay, so if you said 5, then you're correct. So 4 times 5 gives me 20. So I have to multiply the numerator by that as well. So 1 times 5 gives me 5. And I'm going to do the same thing for the 1/5. I'm going to mentally ask myself, what times 5 gives me 20? And if you said 4, you're correct. So I need to multiply the numerator by that as well. So 1 times 4 is 4. Now I can actually add those together because I have the same denominators. So 5 plus 4 is 9. And then my denominator stays the same. And luckily, it is already reduced down. We cannot reduce that any further. So my answer for number 1 is 9/20. Okay, and I'm actually going to be writing on the back of a sheet of paper to do the rest of them, since it takes up a little bit more space. So number 2, I have 1/2 plus 4/5. Okay, and I'm going to write my LCM way over here so I have space. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And then for 5, I have 5, 10, 15. Okay, and notice that I have an LCM now. So 10 is my LCM. So I'm going to mentally ask myself, what, I made a boo-boo there. Sorry about that. 1 second. I know how I love my whiteout. Okay, so I'm going to mentally ask myself, what times 2 gives me 10? So if you said 5, you're correct. Okay, and I do the same thing to the numerator. And then I'm going to do the same for the fraction down here. What times 5 gives me 10? And that's 2. Do the same thing up there. So 4 times 2 is 8. And now I can add like normal. Okay, and we have an improper fraction. So what do we need to do? We obviously need to turn this into a mixed number. Okay, so 13 divided by 10 goes one time. So I am left with 1 3/10 as my answer for number 2. Okay. Next, for number 3, I have 2/3 minus 1/2. Okay, so I'm going to put my LCM way over here. I have 2, 4, 6, 8. And then for 3, I have 3, 6, 9. Okay, so my least common multiple is 6. So I'm going to set it up like normal. Okay, so what times 3 gives me 6? The answer is 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. And then what times 2 gives me 6? And the answer is 3. So 2 times 3 is 6. And then 1 times 3 is 3. And I'm going to subtract those. Okay, so make sure you're paying attention to the signs because that's an easy mistake. 4 minus 3 is 1, 6. So that is my answer for 3. Okay, and you guys feel free to pause this video whenever you need to. Okay, number 4, I have 2/3 minus 1/4. And over here, my LCM. So I have 3, 6, 9, 12. And for 4, I have 4, 8, 12. Okay, and I see a common number that's in both groups. 12 is the smallest number that's in both groups. So, like normal, I'm going to mentally ask myself, what times 3 gives me 12? My answer is 4. So then 2 times 4 is 8. And then I'm going to mentally ask myself, what times 4 gives me 12? My answer is 3. So 1 times 3 is 3. And then I'm going to subtract that. So 8 minus 3 is 5 twelfths. Okay, and you're probably noticing a pattern here. So in order to get the LCM, you don't always need to just list them out. Okay, you've probably noticed that if you take the two denominators and just multiply them, that gives you your LCM. Because 3 times 4 gives me 12. And it works here too. So 3 times 2 gives me 6. And then 2 times 5 gives me 10. Okay, and the same thing on number 1. So that little trick, if you like looking at it like that better than listing out your LCM, then that is perfectly fine with me. Okay, now let's look at number 5 and 6. And I'm going to actually flip back to my little booklet sheet here. Okay, so I have 1/2 and 2/3. And some of us can easily do this in our head, but others cannot. So the best way to do this is to change the denominators to where they are the same denominator, just like what we've been doing up here. Okay, so I'm going to change 1/2 and 2/3 to have the same denominator. Okay, so if you like the LCM way, I'm going to just put my LCM over here. Okay, so I have 2, 4, 6, and then I have 3, 6, 9. So 6 is my LCM. So then the 1/2. Okay, again, I'm going to ask myself, what times 2 gives me 6? And that's 3. So I have 3/6. And then I'm going to ask myself, what times 3 gives me 6? And that is 2. So I have 3/6 and 4/6 that I'm comparing. Okay, so which one is the bigger fraction? Okay, if the 2/3 technically equals 4/6, and then the 1/2 technically equals 3/6, 4/6 is bigger. Okay, so then my sign would be like that. Number 6 is the same way. So I have 2/3 And then I have 6 nights down here. Well, that should be multiplication. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so then my LCMs for that, I'm just going to write down here just for time's sake because it's going to be a long video. I have, so 9, 18, and then for 3, I have 3, 6, 9. Okay, and this one is a little bit different. This is going back to lesson 55 because I only need to change one of those because 9 is my LCM. So I don't actually need to change both of these fractions. I just need to change the 2/3. Okay, so I'm going to actually keep the 6 ninths and I'm just going to worry about the 2/3. So if my LCM is 9, then I mentally ask myself, what times 3 gives me 9? And the answer is 3. So then 2 times 3 is 6. So I have 6 ninths and 6 ninths that is being compared, which obviously is a equals sign. Okay, so hopefully this video taught you something good, and I hope you enjoy your last day at school before Thanksgiving break. And you guys have a wonderful day.